Hello everybody, welcome. One Wisdom, Sangha. 3 refuges. I take refuge in the absolute purity of this awakened mind. I take refuge in this practice of pure selfless awareness, wisdom, compassion, and skillful means. I take refuge in this awakening community and our realization in the truth of the interconnection, interpenetration, and interdependency of all sentient and insentient beings everywhere. Okay, so here we are continuing with the koans of Junpo Roshi, with additions and subtractions as we go along. So there's a word called dharani or dharana, and there's a few different definitions for it, but one is a formula. Call it a formula. Or I like to think of it as a formula or a practice that condenses a full teaching that if, when practiced, unfolds into the whole thing. And there are some dharanas or dharanis that just by doing the formula, so to speak, the next step sort of shows itself. And the next step unfolds and shows itself. And Junpo has a dharani. And we will review what we've done so far in our practice with this particular dharani, reviewing the different koans. Okay. In preparation, check your posture. When the posture is correct, the whole body relaxes. We are aware of everything around us without focusing on anything. All senses are fully operational. But we don't latch on. Sounds come and go. Visuals come and go. Some things appear to be static. Sometimes the wall starts to move. Don't latch on. And we become aware of this body. We gently place attention, that is, a little bit of focus on this breathing body. We notice this body is breathing. We notice how this body is breathing. Deep or shallow, fast or slow. Whether the breaths are coarse and harsh or fine and gentle. We might notice that this breath changes in tempo, rhythm, texture. And we choose to continue to place our attention gently on this breathing body. Favor all arisings with attention to this breathing. Much like a bystander witnessing. As the belly softens. And opens. And the tissues do their work. Diaphragm pulls the lungs down and out. Pulling in the air that holds the chi. You can experience your legs and your feet almost as if when you take the in-breath, the earth's energies rise up all the way through the body. As you breathe in, heavenly energies descend and meet in this heart area, which can include the whole body. Inhale and listen. And of course, exhale when you need to. Is it possible to just purely listen without an opinion? Without thought, without judgment? Listen deeply. Listen right into the silence, deeper than anything you can hear with your ears. Inhale, listen. Exhale, listen deeply. Where in your body do you experience this resonance of deep, deep listening? This deep, unborn, empty awareness is embodied. Experience the compassion, the bridge between this deep awareness, unformed, unborn, the love, the compassion, the bridge between the absolute and the relative. Koan 2, where within your body is the center of this deeper listening experienced? Inhale, where? Exhale, heart. Inhale, heart. Exhale, compassion. Koan 3, who are you? Who am I? Who are we? Within this deep, heartfelt listening. We could use the word abiding in place of listening or along with. Inhale, listen. Exhale, listen. Inhale, who am I? Exhale. Inhale. Who am I? Exhale. Inhale, who am I? Inhale. I don't know or I know. Feel what that feels like. I know who I am, or I don't know who I am. And release the I. Into the awareness of just not knowing a thing, not knowing a concept of I. Koan number 4. What is the difference between I don't know and not knowing? Contract on the inhale. Contract your hand, make a fist, or contract your body in some way. I, contraction, I. Exhale and open all that up. Open the hand, open the body. Play with this, repeat this. Move into the contraction of I represented by the closing of the hand into a fist, and the feeling of releasing that contraction. Inhale, K-N-O-W, know the difference through your experience directly. Know, K-N-O-W. And N-O, no, to whatever concept is coming forward. This continually will remind us and take us back to our awareness, this deepest sense of our beingness. Koan number 5. In this deep listening, this clear, deep heart mind, what are you like? What is it like? What are we like at this depth of consciousness? Do not search with your mind or try to form concepts. Just recognize emergent qualities as we now bring them into and through the ego function capable of speaking and using concepts without being identified. So check in this deep awareness. Is there fear in this depth of consciousness? Is there formation? Or is it unstructured? Is there silence here? Is there peace? Is there serenity? Is there a limit to it? Being, is it? Are there boundaries? Or is there vast? Vast, spacious quality. So here we're resting in the unborn, unformed, and yet here we are formed. What does this awareness, what can represent this awareness in your bodily activity, a gesture of some kind? In other words, bring the body back online, bring the body back in, body back in. There's humor here of a kind. There's brilliance, awakeness. So the Dharani is, show me, show me, show me. Express. If there's no gesture, is this expressed through your eyes? Can it be expressed through your mouth? Your arms and gesture, the pores of your body. Let it move you. Okay. So your exercise is to hold to this awareness, as in remember it. Remember it as you take a short break and as you move. And there are different things you can try to do. You can think this awareness is moving this body. That this body moves within awareness. Just play with it a little bit. But just hold to the meditative state while behaving. And I'll see you in 5 minutes. Okay, returning. As I had mentioned before, this is a practice that has usually been done with a teacher and yourself, one-on-one. And so for you to be working with it in a large group like this, I know is somewhat challenging for parts of this. So I just want to acknowledge that. And at the same time, it's remarkable what can actually take place in a group as well. So there are 13 koans altogether, and we are working right now with koan number 7. And this koan asks us to use a signifier to recall clear, deep heart mind. And we know the most difficult thing is to sometimes remember something. So really, what we're talking about here is trying to develop the capacity for what could be called constant remembrance. Constant remembrance. And in the Theravadan tradition, the Arhat is one who never leaves his or her seat in this awareness. Both is connected to this depth of consciousness all the time, regardless of what's taking place and regardless of what they are doing. And this is why we make embodied gestures. You know, this embodied gesture of this awareness represents our activity in life. Now, lots of times when we practice very slowly because sometimes it's hard to hold our awareness and our attention on a particular object or task. So this is what would be called the development of shamatha vipassana. Shamatha vipassana. Both calm abiding, absorption, so to speak, in the ground, in the substrate, and right here, right now, sensing, hearing, knowing what is heard, what is felt tactily, etc., etc. So we choose a word. We just brushed by this in a prior week. We choose a word that can help us bridge our memory. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask everybody right now to choose a word that represents, and I'm going to give you a number of words again, because sometimes some words are a little bit too conceptual. So the words that are not as conceptual are vast, silent, peaceful, empty, fearless, imperturbable, still. Now, do you have a word that resonates? That when you say that word a few times will land you back into this deep, witnessing awareness that lands us directly into the experience. So try it a few times. Okay, just do something else for a moment. Say the word and land. So we're developing a kind of neuronal capacity here where we're actually working the material in such a way as to build this pathway to remembrance. Okay. So again, Gurdjieff would have called this a reminding factor, perhaps. A word that's a reminding factor. Right? A reminding factor to return, return, return. So this awareness could be said to be, mother, father to all of our experiences and all of the different qualities of our being. So when we rest in this awareness, anything is possible. Any response is possible. We tend to think very seriously, very often, about these things. But there's also a humor, a lightness, a brilliance that has nothing to do with how smart we are. Right? So you can play with this. And later on, this is going to become very, very important when we start working with emotional experience and where we get hooked in sometimes. Our ability to return to this gives us freedom, gives us a moment of freedom. Sometimes that's all there is just a moment, right? To completely ignore one ignorant response of our own and choose a different, more compassionate response. But that's coming up more later. Right now, we're still building the pathway, we're building the bridge for constant remembrance. And remember, it's not all absolute. There is relative. There is formation. There is multiplicity. And these two have to come together, right? Come together in your being, in the heart, as they say.